What is the longest time you've kept up a joke for? I've been alive for 27 years. When I was 14 with a few friends, we used to call the same telephone number time and time again, asking for Mr. De Bruin. The guy picking up the phone always got mad. There is no Mr. De Bruin here, you assholes. Then after a few months we called him up and said, "Hey, it's Mr. De Bruin. Did anyone leave a message for me by any chance?" Quote, "It is pretty funny. Convinced a friend that a mutual friend's birthday was a day earlier than it actually was. It's been 5 years and damn near everyone we know now acknowledges the day before is his birthday. When I was younger I decided to pretend my brother, he was 6 at the time, was invisible. Got my parents involved and it lasted 5 days. We only stopped when he turned the table on us and thought, ooh, if I'm invisible I can do bad shit. And no one will know it's me." He poured sugar all over the floor in the kitchen and made a sugar angel. That's when my mom stopped playing along. Haha, that's hilarious. But wouldn't a 6-year-old just not go to bed or bath for like 5 days? I could have kept it up indefinitely, but my father ratted me out to my mom when he needed to throw someone under the bus to take flack off himself for something. She has these garden fairies and angels all over her garden, and I had been moving them very subtlety, like duck outside when no one is around and push one an inch to the right. The weeping angels are one of our favorite Doctor Who villains. Naturally, she thought she was going nuts. My father is a bastard. This is either cute or cruel. Depends on how freaked out your mom was. I did something similar to my mom when I was a teen, lol. The game. God damn it, I lost the game. I've been played. You better make sure your username checks out because I'm going to remember her all wrongdoing I've witnessed today, and I will DM you when you'll be most vulnerable. When my son was about 6, there was a trend for farmers to wrap hay bales in pink plastic for breast cancer awareness. This meant there were lots of piles of hay bales around that were wrapped in pink and white plastic. I told him they were marshmallow farms and they grow the marshmallows to giant sizes before chopping them all up. Cut to 4 years later. Son is now 10. We were driving past a farm and he got really excited to see the first marshmallows of the season. I laughed. He asked why. I came clean with him. It was only a throwaway joke after all. Not to him it wasn't. He got really upset and explained he had spent the past 4 years dreaming of being a marshmallow farmer. One day bouncing along the top of his very own pile of giant marshmallows. For some reason he doesn't trust me anymore. I have to utter a sacred promise of truth whenever I tell him something now. My grandma has convinced almost all of her grandchildren at one point or another in their lives that round hay bales are actually illegal, because the cows can't get a square meal. I faked my name to a guy I sorta liked for about a year. We didn't go to school together, and when we hung out we never really called out each other's name. I just didn't like my name back then, so when he asked what my name was, off the top of my head, I said, Stephanie. I didn't know anyone named Stephanie IRL, so I DK why I said that. We're just friends now, lol. Do they still call you Stephanie? 7 years so far. I often played Mambo number 5 loud with my windows wound down to embarrass my now wife. Like when we were stuck in traffic. Or when I was picking her up from work. She asked me to stop. So I started posting her copies of Mambo number 5 to her work. To begin with, I found them secondhand on Amazon and eBay for 1p plus postage. I single-handedly drove the price up by buying it so often to over £2. I've done it more than 40 times over the years. Spaced out just long enough for her to either forget or think I've given up. I found out I could play our Bluetooth speaker remotely, so I'd play it when I went out but she was home. I play it on the Chromecast TV when she's not expecting it. I slip it into her Spotify playlists. I photoshopped Lou Bega into our wedding photo. I put a picture of him in her wallet. I followed them on Twitter when she wasn't looking. I'm probably going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inscribed on her tombstone. She hates Lou Bega. She's pretty close to hating me. Side trivia. Did you know Lou Bega is German? If you have a smart device at home that is connected to your Spotify, you can control that device from anywhere with your phone as long as it's turned on. I didn't realize this and scared the shit out of my mother one night. She was listening to her gospel tunes. Then Def Leppard started blasting out of the speakers. Perhaps some more fodder for your use. My husband intentionally says the slightly wrong date for our anniversary just to mess with me. It's been almost 6 years now and I can no longer remember whether it's the 14th or 16th without checking. When I was a teenager I had a mole on my torso removed. I am the owner of a small scar on my abdomen. My younger sister asked me what happened when she saw it and I told her I was stabbed in a fight. After school, she did believe me and I had to convince her. Eventually I won her trust about it. Just shy of 2 decades later, while talking with my parents, sister, and future Bill, my sister talks about how I was stabbed in a fight and to show him the scar. My parents and I couldn't really speak to correct her from laughing so hard. The look on her face was absolutely priceless when we all confirmed I had a mole removed at our PCP office. I've had something going for over a year now. At work, we're supposed to lock our computers when we walk away. When I see a computer unlocked with no one around, I will open Notepad and leave a message about being owed a donut, or asking why I haven't gotten my donut yet. Then I lock the computer. Some people have gone crazy trying to figure out who leaves the donut messages. My whole life, the one I can think of off the top of my head is around 8 months. The joke was on my friend. Let's call him Jack because that's his name. So Jack is a moody 17 to 18-year-old who used to love playing Fortnite. In October of last year there was an event called The End which shut down Fortnite for a couple of days. Jack was obsessed with this event because numbers were showing up randomly and he didn't close Fortnite for about 3 days. Well, I have a friend who Jack didn't have their number and we started texting him saying, "Sorry for the inconvenience. This is Donald Mustard's assistant Lucy. If you stayed on you would receive a special cosmetic if he stayed on and didn't turn off the application." The poor kid actually thought he was getting leaks and it took him a while to realize he was being trolled. Till this day he still doesn't know who messaged "Hi monsieur." Since I was 10, my older sister thought I was 8 for like 2 years. Now we just get each other birthday cards for 8-year-olds. I'm 19. I'm 31, so I guess that long. About 4 months. I convinced a drunk friend he slept with a pregnant girl in our friend group. He was telling the story after the fact about how he didn't remember it and I just kinda went oops. Forgot to tell you that was a joke. He was slightly mad. I didn't really like one of my English teachers but was pretty good at the subject, so I spent the entire year writing about llamas. We had to do weekly journals and every week I would add in something about llamas. Creative writing project. You bet I am writing it on llamas. Make a fake magazine? Llamas again. Essay on an unrelated topic. I worked in something llama related. Speech topic. Take a wild guess. It made him both amused and annoyed, so he would pick assignments to make it harder for me while I would be doing llama research at home for my next little add-in. It only stopped because he got a job at a different school. I have no idea why I picked llamas. Had no prior interest in them or anything, and I didn't do anything like that in any of my other classes, but it was fun to see the frustration as he skimmed through my work and spotted the dreaded L word, followed by a roll of eyes. I've been a spite Jew for the last 5 years to fuck with my mom after I found out there's a chance we might have some Jewish ancestry. She made a stink out of us not being Jews, and as a joke I canceled Christmas and started hiding Hanukkah shit in with all her Xmas decorations. Now it's been 5 years and it still annoys the shit out of her and it still makes me laugh. 18 years. Most people I've known my adult life believe I've got one kidney. It's been 3 years now and I regret nothing. I also have 2 kidneys. But where's the joke? There isn't really one, pal. Started as a white lie and now I don't have the heart to tell them, so I just go along with it. He has 2 kidneys. When I was about 18, my best friend Babs found out his older brother had a crush on me. So to mess with him, he told him I used to be porn star. And cause we were friends, I had given him a copy of my DVD I had made. My porn name was Lauren Hayes, which turned out to be a real porn star, making it more hilarious that he never found this out. The next few times I went round, the brother was always there, asking me questions about my career, etc. I always just laughed and told him I don't talk about it much. We kept him believing the story for a good couple of years. Every so often Babs would bring it up and we would talk about how embarrassing it was or something. Eventually Babs caught him rooting through all of his stuff trying to find the DVD. I can't remember how it eventually came out we were lying, but that was a hilarious couple of years. Not me, but my GF. And there's a twist in this story. When we were on a trip near the sea, I noticed a really cool burb. She said what it's called, and if I was to translate it to English, it would be a silly name like funny black burb. She convinced me 100% that it's true and I believed, though was very shocked. 1 year later, during a casual conversation, I mentioned the bird and she stares in my eyes and goes, "Oh my god, Mr. Grushka, that was a joke," and bursts out laughing. So then I googled the burb as I could not believe that she would carry on with this for a year. Turned out it actually is a real bird's name. She just somehow forgot it a few years back and decided to prank me on the trip. Her face when I showed her the Google results was priceless. What's a potato? I was thinking this lol, such a funny story. Not me, but I had a friend in secondary school who convinced the whole year, and many teachers, that they were colorblind. It was only in the last year that they said they weren't, and it was a nice, harmless joke. One time I was tired of answering questions for my English teacher in 8th grade. She would single me out all the time even though I'd pay attention. So, I faked losing my voice. She calls on me, I point to my mouth and act like I can't speak. She goes, "Oh, you have laryngitis." I nod my head. I kept it up for about 2 weeks. In history one day I spoke and everybody is surprised like OMG he spoke. So I told them what I was doing. We then established that nobody would speak in her class the next day. So everybody lost their voice. She called on a student, he wouldn't speak. She'd moved to another student and they wouldn't speak. She goes, "There's a mutiny here and I don't like it." She got somebody to write an anonymous letter snitching on everybody, so she called my monsieur. She then told me I was the puppet master and I should be politician or a lawyer since I am so good at persuading the crowd. She didn't call on me too much after that, so my problem was solved. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.